introduce yourself and,
Okay.
and the space that we're in and all of that.
All right. Hi, I'm Ed, and welcome to my shop. So we are in my man cave, which happens to not be in my house because my house does not have room for a man cave. I rent this place about a mile from my house, which is close enough to ride my bicycle to every once in a while and
Right.
haul stuff back and forth. So this is about, let's see, 40 by 80 feet, so you'll have to do the math, but bigger
Okay.
than the average garage and still not big enough half the time.
Right.
So on that wall, I've got my wood storage, and it is sort of organized, a lot of hardwoods. And there's a story behind all that. There's really a story behind the shop, which I'll get to, I suppose. It was at a time when I decided I'm retiring, I'm getting into woodworking, and I guess this is what you need. That the one thing you really need in a shop isn't powered. It's tables. You need table space. Lots and lots of table space and floor space too. So,
Big deal.
right, so I'm pretty low budget. So my desk here is a door, interior door on a pair of sawhorses. And you can see it's where I put all my junk. That's where I'll do all my figuring, calculating, figuring out if I can afford stuff. Probably one of the more important things in a shop, I didn't realize at the time, because I now have crappy phone service. And if you can't go online to look up stuff, might as well not be in your shop, because half the time you're looking stuff up on Amazon and everything else. So I have a lot of woodworking books. This is only a small portion of them. They're too heavy to put on the door, and I'm too lazy to build cabinets. The cool thing about plastic boxes is you can label them. When they're too high, stacked too high, they fit just inside shelves. And I use these like drawers. If I need to do some hand sanding, I pull out my hand sanding box. Keep all my dovetail tools here. It's all sort of organized by project and intent rather than by tool types. I had an electrician put in LED lighting, and it's barely bright enough. I have separate task lighting. Actually, these little battery powered lights are really helpful. They're super bright, and you can stick them wherever you need them. They're very helpful for doing the hand tool work over here. I guess you can never have enough clamps.
Right?
This is my little clamp collection, and it's not enough for doing most of the stuff. I have to go to my neighbor and borrow clamps half the time. I was really excited to find that these guys made this top, because I really didn't want to route out all these dovetails. I like all the micro jig products. They all use this sort of dovetail groove to clamp stuff down, but routing the groove is a real pain. So when I saw that Infinity came out with a pre-made, pre-cut table, I bought it. Well, so the story of this shop actually goes back to, I'm a retired physician, and toward the end of my working years, one of my patients was an avid woodworker, and his wife and his family basically asked if I would be interested in taking over for a small price his equipment and all his lumber. So a lot of the lumber you see here was actually collected by my former patient. So the machines, the table saw was Stan's machine, and so it's a very old Powermatic table saw. It's even in the original gold metallic color that they used to have. The bandsaw I got from Stan and his family, and the wood. So that kind of gave me my start. So really everything in this shop except for the table saw is on wheels. Okay. And you really can't deal with a place like this unless you can move stuff around, because it's always in your way. They finally came out with double locking casters now. Okay. Used to be you'd lock your caster and it would still swivel, but now these casters, they lock both the stem and the wheel. So yes, PowerTech dual locking swivel casters. Amazon, a set of 4, $25. This is a sign I carved for my parents when they lived in Virginia. It's supposed to be Blue Ridge Mountains and whatnot in the background. And I've recently become interested in gold leaf and lettering, so I'm interested in taking some of this gold leaf and redoing the lettering to see how it looks on the sign.
Okay.
This little fellow, those of you that are literarily inclined recognize Shakespeare. Those of you that watched Batman know
Right.
that every bust has a secret button. So when this was hooked up, it was connected to a secret mini bar. This is a 20-inch bandsaw. It's healthy. It's good for resawing. It's a kind of a beast. So it's not really for fine work. And really long blades, like 150-inch blades. So the first machine I bought is this thing, which is just a giant dust collector from Jet. I think it's maybe the biggest one they make. This was the reason I had to put 220 into the shop, not for any of the other tools. I didn't want to put in all the pipes for rigid dust collection, so I just went with this easy connect hose. Just pop over to the planer when I need it, and there's instant dust collection. So this reaches to the table saw, all the dust making machines. Everyone's got a power sander, it seems. I'm not sure I really needed this, but it came with a lot of these other tools. So what I really want is just a drum sander, horizontal drum sander, you know?
Right.
But where to put it? I used to do mostly just hand routing. I mean, who needs a router table? But there are times when it's really helpful to have a fence, cutting dado grooves, and these days it's a challenge to know. Router bits have become kind of expensive as the technology has advanced. And now everyone's, purchasing CNC machines with spiral up bits and spiral down bits. And it's kind of a complicated world these days. I wouldn't go out and buy a bunch of bits until you were sure you really needed them. That has been in my shop since I put it there. It weighs a ton. I've never used it. I don't know anyone uses mortising machines anymore. I think they're like passe. I'm going to try to sell it, but I don't know that anyone will want to buy it. This is a very quiet compressor. I'm very noise sensitive, you think, God, in a shop. But hearing protection, very important. But this is just a really quiet compressor. Looks like I need to depressurize it too. Probably turn it off. People hate sharpening. I actually really like sharpening. I don't know why. It's very satisfying to me to get the right sharpening tools and then use them and get these beautiful mirror finishes. So I bought this, and I bought some diamond wheels because the way I like to sharpen my tools is to put a hollow grind on the bevel and then use just do a micro bevel for the final polishing. And this has really been a great tool. I love it. I would buy it again. Really good. I have lots of hand sharpening stones, which I started on. Now I just use them for the final bevel. In fact, what I've gone to is I put the hollow bevel with this, and then I use the Crazy Sharp system for my final micro bevels. I use these Crazy Sharp things glued just onto a piece of tile I got at Home Depot because it's fairly flat. It's not really totally flat. And
it does the job.
Does the job. So do my 1800 and then 8000 grit. If I really want to polish, I can go up to 60,000, but I rarely do that.
Down there.
Yeah, again, when I was in the, I need to buy stuff to have a wood shop phase, along with buying big machines, I bought a few Festool things. The vacuum cleaner, probably the most useful thing in my shop. What I have used a little and have not gotten a lot out of is the joiner, the domino joiner, which I'm going to start learning to use to make boxes and stuff.
Okay.
But the track saw, which is the bottom thing, for which I have a track, and that thing that's really sweet. It's a beautiful tool.
So then you've got the...
it's just a little oscillating sander, also incredibly heavy, useful. Yeah, Jerry Bear inspired me to practice some Intarsia work here. Let's see. Thank you, Jerry. But yes, I made it over here on this scroll saw. And the one thing I learned about Intarsia is making all those cuts takes a really, really long time. And finishing it also takes some work. So anyway, I'm not doing entirely more yet, but maybe someday I'll take it up again. I have a refrigerator and a drill
You can't
press.
have a shop without a fridge.
No, can't have a shop without a refrigerator. Actually, there CA glue keeps really well in the refrigerator. If you can't keep it in the fridge, keep it dry. Best way to keep it dry is to buy, get some Ziploc bags and put one of these guys in there. Silica gel,
Okay.
another great Amazon purchase. What I like about this stuff is it turns green when it's absorbed too much water. Even better, you don't throw it away. You just warm it in the oven and it goes back to orange.
All right.
So keeping rust away is a big challenge for me. I've got a lot of cast iron here. In fact, I was doing some of my cast iron earlier today. It's like having children. It's another thing to take care of. So this miter saw is my reminder that I don't have a miter saw station. And I've been trying to figure out how do people find room for that. I mean, I would have to go against a wall. I don't have a free wall right now. This wall's taken. This wall has a big desk in it. I'm going to have to probably remove the desk, put this over there. This is the second machine I bought. I bought the vacuum, the dust vac first. I bought this second, and I really wanted a planer that has a parallelogram setup rather than independent tables.
Okay.
Because it's a truer way to true your boards. And I bought the widest one I could afford. I think this is an 8-inch. Yeah, this is an 8-inch.
Okay.
And I bought it because it has a helical head. I tried to make a helical head joiner and helical head planers part of my shop.
Well,
I'm happy to mill wood for people as long as it's not a huge project. So, I mean, the planer, the head on that it's like a mirror finish. You almost don't even need to finish your wood.
So is that a 15-inch?
That's a 20-inch.
That's a 20. Okay.
A helical head,
Right.
Powermatic. It's a pretty good machine. It's kind of a beast.
All right.
Another thing was probably more than I needed, but I've been here probably 3 or 4 years, and it started out as family storage, and gradually I've taken over bits and pieces of it. So now it's 90% mine, and very little left of family stuff.
All right. Okay.
My time is my own. I can make whatever I feel like it. I come here when I want to. I don't have constraints like a lot of people. Not having a business is really a great thing. Every once in a while I think about what it costs to rent this place, and I think I probably should have a business to help pay for it. But that day hasn't come yet. I guess my wife will tell me when that day's arrived.